everyone, my name is Natasha. I am the Dopamine Stitcher. Welcome back to my channel. So I am back for Flosstube number 8, I believe. It's number 8 for me now. And yeah, welcome. If you're just joining me for the first time, this channel is primarily about my cross-stitching journey. I also talk a little bit about the happenings on various bald eagle nest cams. It's another hobby of mine, is watching those cams. So I do have a bit of an update on that a little later in the video for today. Excuse me. So yeah, welcome back. It's been 3 weeks. I have had a pretty good last 3 weeks of stitching. That's considering the fact that I definitely had a few days that were limited. My stitching time was limited, and I'll explain why a little later on in the video when I get to my little life update. Last time I filmed, I talked about an impending move that we were about to have, and a house. We're having some issues surrounding that situation. But anyway, I will have a full update on that towards the end of the video. But I wanted to start off with the stitching. So despite having some limited time for stitching on some days, I still managed to have 3 new starts, which I was waiting for. I was very excited about that. So yeah, I'm excited to show you what I got done so far. I already made some pretty decent progress on the 3 new starts. Before I get into that, though, I did want to give a shout out to one other Flosstuber. So this is for Andy or Crow over at Crow Stitcher. So they were doing a giveaway for reaching 800 subscribers, and it's like one of those giveaways where you just comment and put in a keyword that they tell you, and then they do a comment picker and they pick the winner. And I actually won one of the giveaways, and I literally never win anything. So I can't remember the last time I won something. So yeah, that was really fun and exciting. It's like a really cute little bunnies and a pumpkin counted kit, kind of a smaller piece. But yeah, so thank you so much to Andy. Very excited to see that come in the mail. And also just wanted to give them a general shout out. I've been watching their channel for about a month or 2 now, I believe. And I would absolutely recommend it if you're not already watching them. They have some really great, it's a lot of kind of gothic-y, some kind of creepy types of designs. They did like a murder march where they had some people participating in, different projects that had some kind of a murder theme. So yeah, it was really fun. I will link them below. So if you're not already watching Crow Stitcher, I would definitely recommend their channel. All right. So let's get into the new starts. All right, let me get my iPad here. I'm going to show you the first one that I started. And so I was ready to start these. The reason I had to kind of wait a little bit longer than I wanted to is because the materials I had shipped to my parents' house in Oregon, because where I currently live, we don't have USPS service. So if there's a lot of like the Etsy shops, and there's I know like 123 Stitch, that shop that I order from a lot for a lot of my supplies, they only do USPS. So had to have it shipped up to Oregon, and then my mom was in town for a week, and so she brought them along, and I was able to start them that week that I spent with her down here in California. So, all right, here's the first one that I got started on. Just get it in the frame here. Okay, so it's this. Again, I am a bald eagle fan, so this is and I am also a very big fan of colorful designs. Anything that's, kind of, really bright, really fun, really busy, dopamine decor style. That's my thing. So this is called, I think it's just called Abstract Eagle. It's from Artecy, and the artist is Dean Russo. It is actually a mini version that I'm doing, and I'm actually stitching it I'll show the fabric in a minute here when I show you my progress. I'm not stitching the background, so all the background is like 310, but I'm not going to stitch that. I'm going to just stitch just like the object on the background, so that you can see the fabric. And I'm going to be doing it, or I am already doing it because I started it. It's 2/2 full cross on 18 count. So yeah, that's what it's gonna look like when it's finished. Let me get out the project. So make sure I'm holding it the right way. It was when I started on this, I was like having trouble, like which way is the top, because I actually started in the center this time, and which I haven't done in so long because I've been doing so many big full coverage pieces. So I usually will start in the top left corner or one of the corners. But this one I started in the center just since it's going to be an object on a fabric. So this is really funny holding this up here because it's totally see-through. I can like see that tree right behind it. But when I lay it in front of me, it's like, I swear it's like solid. Like yeah, it's not like actually, or I don't know. This is the first time I'm seeing it actually be see-through. So yeah, this is where I got to. And so the fabric, so it's an 18 count, and I bought it off of Etsy. It's a black and blue opalescent Aida called Sparkling Night Sky, and it's from an Etsy shop called Easy Stitch for Fun. So that's where I got this fabric. It's so tiny to me compared to my other projects. So yeah, this is about 1,500 stitches that I've gotten on it. I definitely need to sew the ends up because it's fraying already, so that's something I need to do. And what was I going to say about this? So it's interesting, I haven't worked on 18 count in a while. I definitely prefer 25 count. That's something I've discovered. This fabric also being so dark, it's definitely challenging to work on this fabric because it's very hard to see the holes and where the needle needs to go. I find it best to work on it when it's like daylight outside coming in through the windows, because even with a bright light, I still find it hard to really see, and it kind of makes my eyes hurt if I do it at night or I do it for too long. So yeah, I would say the challenge in this one is definitely like the fabric color, just because it's kind of hard to see and with the design, but it is really pretty, and I'm really excited to see what it's going to look like when it's done with this kind of night sky background. So yeah, this is this one so far, and I'm doing this. It's like a weekly project, so it's my weekly 500 where I put in 500 stitches a week. Usually end up doing that like on a Friday when I kind of going into the weekend and I have a little bit more time to stitch. So that's yeah, so that's where it fits in the rotation. It comes out every week, and if I do 500 stitches every week, it should be done by next year. So this is actually, out of all my projects, this is the one that will probably be done first, ironically, because it's a new start this year, but it is it's fairly small. So anyway, that's where we are with that. And so, like I said, it's a total of about 1,500 stitches. And as far as the percentage, it's at 29.93%. However, that is totally misleading because, like I said, I'm not stitching the background. So that's like as if I stitched the whole background. So I just marked all those stitches off, that black background. And then obviously marked off the ones that I stitched in here. It's those background stitches that I skipped plus the ones I've done equal almost 30%. So, but it's nice to see such a high percentage so early. It's like, it's kind of cool because usually everything takes so long. So, okay, next new start. But let me show you the picture first. So, this one, I actually don't have a picture for in here because the pattern didn't have like a cover photo. I was trying to upload a photo, like a screenshot of the finished design into Markup RXP, but it seemed like that had to be like part of the file that you uploaded, originally, so I wasn't able to get that up there. But what I'll do is I'll show you the full chart and then the preview that kind of can show, like, you know, basically what the design is. So it's this pattern of tiles. I believe it's just called Mosaic tiles. And it's by 2x2 Stitch Art. Got it off of Etsy. And I created my own color schemes. You can do this any way you want. You can do it black and white. You can do it just any kind of a color combo, kind of like a sampler style. So I picked 9 colors, and I'm doing this in DMC Light Effects thread. So, well, I'll get to that in a second. Let me show you the piece first and talk about the fabric as well. Okay. This is what I have so far. So the fabric is a 25 count white opalescent Lugana. So I don't know if you can see the opalescence here on the camera, but it definitely is very glittery, and I absolutely love it. It looks so good in person, and I'm loving it as the background, with this being a non-full coverage, just seeing the sparkle come through. So big fan of this fabric. And I'm doing it 1/1 full cross. And like I said, it's DMC Light Effects thread. So I'm using a scheme of 9 different colors from, there were 2 different like little sets that I got, like kind of like little boxed sets that I got off Amazon. One of them was called Tropical and one of them was called Fluorescent. So I just kind of, I picked 9 colors out of those 2 sets and created a little scheme out of that. So yeah, as far as this one, so okay, I love the fabric so much. Because I love the sparkle. Like, I honestly think I'm just gonna, if I can, buy like the opalescent white Lugana for even like full coverage projects in the future, because it's just fun to even just look at the sparkly element of the fabric. I will say that the thread, the DMC Light Effects, is definitely a bit of a challenge. I was warned about that it was actually one of my commenters on here, was like, just, you know, it's a little tricky to work with. You might want to start with shorter lengths. So I appreciate that warning, because they were absolutely correct. And so I'm going to talk about what I've noticed with it and kind of how I've been dealing with the challenges of it. So, like, here's a strand of it. It's very slippery. So it's not like regular DMC thread that almost has like I don't want to say like a stick to it, but it's like, it won't like slip out of your needle. Like, it'll stay put much more easily. This will, like, it's so slippery that it will just slip out of your needle. And a lot of times you're going to have to rethread it. So it will slip. Another thing that it will do, so this is one strand. However, it will like fray up like this on the edge into little pieces. So that makes it challenging. If it slips out of your needle, you have to rethread it. So what I've been doing is, first of all, I've been using a needle that has a larger eye on it. I think it's a size 26 needle. I usually use like an even smaller needle for most of my like 25 count full coverage pieces with one strand. But this one, just because of how difficult the thread is, it seems it's much easier to work with if you use a bigger eye on the needle, because then what you can do is to thread it. It's just easier to get in the, you know, the eye of the needle, and also to thread it. You can't, like, because with other threads, I'll just like lick it, or I think some people use wax on the end of it, and then you can just thread it through. That doesn't work when this frays on the end. So what I do is fold it over the needle, and then I'll have like a little bit sticking out, and then I'll thread the eye over it like that. And that has worked pretty well. So that's one thing I've done with it. It also does knot up quite a bit. So shorter lengths are definitely your friend with this kind of thread. And also I usually do a loop start for my, like with a single strand or even with a double strand. that's just to avoid having lots of knots on the back of the fabric. With this one, I'm just doing a knot start. So I'm just making a knot on the end because it's too slippery. It can like slip out so easily of the fabric if you're trying to do a loop start. So yeah, larger needle with a larger eye, threading it by folding it, shorter lengths. Also, when you're stitching, instead of having like just a tiny tail sticking out, you really have like, you got to have like a bigger tail. So your needle should be like at least here, or maybe here. Otherwise, you have to really be very cautious because otherwise it'll just slip right out before you're done with the thread. And then just go a little bit more slowly. So those are some ways I've kind of, you know, dealt with the challenge, but I do think it's very pretty. I love how shiny it is. It's not sparkly, the thread, but you know what it kind of reminds me of is, I remember being like when I was growing up in the 90s, they had these like braided bracelets with these little like, I don't know what they were called, but they were almost like a plasticky, and they would do these like braids and make them into little bracelets or like keychains. I don't know, maybe if you know what I'm talking about, let me know. But that's what this reminds me of. The kind of the texture and the consistency of the thread reminds me of that a little bit. And the other thing I was going to mention about this one is, so when I picked the colors and I laid them out, I was like, oh, I love that. I think that's going to look great together. To be fully honest, I'm not sure if I'm crazy about this color combo. And these are all 9 colors here in this first tile. So I would be curious to get opinions. Like, do you like this color combo together? What I think about it is, so especially like the this peach color, and then also this kind of dark reddish orangish color is not my favorite when I see it actually stitched up here. And I'm feeling like it needs some kind of hot pink. Like I feel like that's missing. I'm like, where's my hot pink? So what I'm thinking of doing, and I'd be curious to get opinions on this as well, is maybe switching them up a little bit. So what I'm thinking of doing is on all of the tiles that border the edge of the design, just sticking with this scheme that I already started with. And then for all of the tiles in the middle, I was thinking about switching out that peach and also that reddish orange color for maybe 2 different shades of pink, like a lighter bright, like a lighter, like a petally pink, and then a like a real hot pink. Maybe, I don't know. I just feel like it needs a little something more. So let me know what you think. I'd be appreciative of thoughts on that. So yeah, this is my second new start. Oh, and I forgot to tell you the stats on this. So far I've done a total of 2,847 stitches, and it's already at 7.63%. So it's going like fairly quick, which is very exciting. All right, final new start. So this is also a non-full coverage. And so this is my very first long dog sampler. Just had to put one of these in the mix after I started learning about them and seeing them on other Flosstube channels. So this is it. It's called the House of Fun. So that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. Obviously not with black and white. It's going to be very colorful. I don't know if you can see that. It looks kind of blurry. Hopefully it's coming through. Okay. Oh, that's not the right one. Okay, so it's a little bit bigger piece of fabric. It's also a 25 count Lugana. This is in a silvery moon color. Ooh, sorry, I got a hair. And here's what I have so far up in the upper left-hand corner. I'm going to talk about the thread in just a second here. Is that coming in clearly enough? I feel like it's a little blurry. I hope not. Yeah, so 1/1 full cross, 25 count. I am using a combination of thread from Weeks Dye Works, Rainbow Gallery, and Kreinik. And I'm going to show you the, first I'm just going to show you all the threads that I got. So this is kind of part of my haul. And most of these are ones I'm using in this project. There's a couple that I'm not. I'll show you those as well, just because it's like haul that I got. Okay, so these are the four colors I picked for this project from Weeks Dye Works. So this one is Caribbean. Kind of a fun variegated blue-green. This is Bubblegum, really, really pretty pink. It's pretty much solid. It has kind of a slight variegation, but it's pretty much a solid pink. This is Chartreuse. I just love, this is one of my favorite colors. Just in general, love Chartreuse. It's pretty much solid, but I haven't stitched with this one yet, so I feel like you can't really see the variegation until you actually stitch with it. And then this one, so this is the one that was my favorite of all of the colors that I looked at from Weeks Dye Works, and it's kind of what I base the other color picks off of. So this is called Calypso, so it's like a neon green, yellow, and pink combo. Super fun. And I also got, so from Petite Treasure, or Treasure, yeah, Petite Treasure Braid is the name of the brand. Oh no, I apologize. That is the name of this type of thread. It's Rainbow Gallery, and then this is a Petite Treasure Braid is the type. This is in, I think it's vintage silver. So we got a silver, and then I got a couple of Kreiniks. So this is a Kreinik in Sweet Tart. This is a Kreinik in Electric Apple. So trying to kind of blend in with some of these other threads here. And then just real quick, I did get a couple of other Rainbow Gallery threads that I'm not going to be using in this project. I thought I might, but I think I'm going to use them somewhere else because they don't really fit in. But I wanted to get a sparkly black, so I think I might use this just in some project at some point. So there's that. And then this is like a lemon, some kind of like a, I don't know, light lemon drop color there. Nice and sparkly. And then finally, I can't remember what this is called, but it's basically like a white glittery metallic thread. So yeah. Okay, so that is all of the threads that I got. And I want to show you kind of how I'm planning to do this long dog, like what color is going to go where. So, and I had to write this down. I've actually had to like cross-check this note so that I can remember as I'm going through and stitching. Okay, so the whole border, there's like a little kind of a lattice type of a border around the whole project. That's in the Caribbean color, which is this one, the blue-green. The words, so it says, I don't know if you can even make it out here, but it says, welcome to the House of Fun on top. And then there's also a space to put initials and a date at the bottom. That's going to be in the sparkly Electric Apple Kreinik. And then there's a few boats in here. The boats are going to be in Caribbean and that's sparkly silver. Not combined, but like, so I'll probably do like 2 of the boats in the silver and like 1 in the Caribbean color. The houses are going to all be in the chartreuse. And then the big animals, so like there's about 12 of them where there's like a lot of kind of block stitching as part of them. Those larger animals are going to be the Calypso, because I want to really kind of show off that color a lot. And I think that'll look the best, you know, as like a block stitch. And then there's also some small animals. Those are going to be in the Sweet Tart color. That's the glittery pink. And then everything else, just like the flowers and just the other designs on here, will be in that pink bubblegum from Weeks Dye Work. So that is my plan for that. One thing about this, when I started it, I've already spent quite a bit of time ripping out stitches here. So when I started it, my first thought was to do, so the border was going to be one strand of the Calypso and then one strand of the sparkly silver, so like 2 over 1 full cross, and it just didn't work. I'm going to put a picture up here of what it looked like before I ripped it out, so you can hopefully see what I mean. It was just it covered too much of the fabric. It just looked really bunchy. You couldn't see the design. And it was also just really difficult to work with. Like those 2 threads together was just too much, too difficult. So anyway, I ended up ripping that out and starting over, just doing the Caribbean. So it's just one strand of the Caribbean now on the border. And that works much better. I'm not going to combine any of the threads on this. I'm just going to do one at a time. You know, trial and error. That's, you know, you have an idea about something and then it'll end up changing. So and then I also had to rip out a whole bunch of this because I made this like probably like 5 stitches wider than it was supposed to be, just for some reason. Yeah, like a week ago, I spent like an hour ripping out and it was so sad. And it's funny because you would think like a non-full coverage would be easier to like not make mistakes on, but I'm kind of noticing the opposite. Like on full coverage, you know, there's a stitch in every single spot. Here, it's like you're skipping stitches a lot, so it's almost easier to make mistakes sometimes. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just not used to it. So anyway, this is where it's at. And yeah, I have 2,210 stitches, currently at exactly 3%. So that's where this is. And so I'm very excited to see it come together. So this one and my Mosaic tiles piece, these are both weekend pieces. So I'm working on them like 4 months out of the year on weekends. And I'm also designating them as my, sorry, I have a thread down here, my travel pieces, just because they don't take so many colors in them, easier to travel with. So these are going to be on the go pieces as well. And hopefully that'll help give them some more stitches. Depending on how much I travel. So yeah, so those are the new starts. I'm gonna take a little drink here, and then I have 2 more projects that I worked on to show you. Okay. All right, let's get out of this. All right, so this one I pretty much only worked on it like 1 day after I last filmed. And then it was the end of the month, and it was like a monthly, it's also a weekend project. And I was working on it during March, and then it'll come back out again in June. So it's this one, another bald eagle, the Noble one. This is artwork by Bogle and charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. It is a quick stitch version, so it's a cropped version of a larger piece. And doing this on 25 count, just plain white Lugana, 1 over 1 full cross. I'll put a picture up of what it looked like before. And I didn't add that many. I only added, like I said, it was only like 1 or maybe 2 days that I worked on it since I last showed it. I added 740 stitches. It's currently at 14.32%. So there we go. I'm just kind of working on this side here in the background. Yeah, and there it is. So this will go away until June. So I think this is the first video where I'm not showing you my main focus piece, which is Magic Roses. That one didn't get any work on it because I'll get to this later in the life update, but I was away. I was in a hotel for a whole week with my mom when she was visiting, and so I was just working on, I counted that as travel, so I just worked on, I started the first eagle, the abstract eagle, put in my first 500 stitches, and then I just worked on the other two new starts, the tiles and the House of Fun. So, but Magic Roses is going to come out again on Monday, so I'll be getting back to it soon. Okay, finally, this is another focus piece of mine. Oops, wrong order. Got to show you the photo first. Okay. And I just finished a page on this. I was scrambling to finish it because I wanted it done before I filmed this weekend. I stayed up, you know, like went into bed late for a couple nights because I wanted to get it done. Okay, so this is the Kitschy Cute Collector. It is artwork by Aimee Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is what it'll look like when it's finished. Also done on a 25 count plain white Lugana, 1/1 full cross. And I will put up a picture of what it looked like before, but here it is now. It's looking so good. I'm so excited about it. So since I last showed it, last time I was working on this page here, and I got it all filled in. So I filled in the whole palm tree. It's the bottom of this pretty hanging decoration from the ceiling. This is part of the pole that's on the like on the outside of the house. And yeah, this one was a lot of fun. As I was working on, I just love the details in here. I was making these little green stitches in here, and I was like, why is there green on this pole? And then I realized, oh, it's from the plant like hanging down above it. So yeah, really pretty. I love how the palm tree came out. There are so many different colors in here, like reds and yellows, which seemed odd for a palm tree trunk, but I think it works really well. It's just very, this chart has a very like, I don't know, it has like a Florida vibe for me for some reason. So yes, love it. So that'll go away for another probably a couple weeks while I work on the next page on Magic Roses, and then it'll come out again, and it's a weekday stitch. Just kind of an alternating pages with my other focus piece. And on that one, it did pretty well. I got 4,605 stitches in the last 3 weeks, currently at 24.33%. So getting close to that 25% mark. All right, so that is all the stitching. I showed you most of the haul, which was the, you know, the new fabric with the new starts and then the thread. I did end up buying some more patterns, which I didn't need, but you know how it goes. So the first two, sorry, I got a hair stuck to my lip gloss. So I like, when I like listen to other Flosstubers, I love hearing where they get their charts from, you know, other than like the obvious ones like Heaven and Earth Designs and, you know, Tilton Crafts, Pain Free Crafts, Gecko Rouge, all the big ones. There's so many Etsy shops, and I love hearing about like what other Etsy shops people get their patterns from, and then going and favoriting them, and then getting to go back on the Etsy app and seeing like if they post new designs. So there was one that I heard about, and this was from another Flosstuber who I also would love to recommend. If you're not already watching her, Kim Hollenback, awesome Flosstuber. She's like super organized with, she has a lot of projects, but she has them so like, she knows exactly when they'll be done, and she's so good with all the stats and just keeps track of things so well. So yeah, I love watching her videos. I will also link her below. If you're not already watching her, you should be. She's doing this one of her projects is like this stained glass pumpkin, and it's from an Etsy shop called Sherova Creations. So I went to that shop, looked around, and I was like, ooh, there's some nice ones on here. So I ended up getting 2 charts. They were on sale for like less than $2. So it was like, okay, you know. that's not a big deal. So I got two they're fairly small. So I got this one. This is just called it's just called Psychedelic. And I think that's just it's very easy. I think it's like 9 colors, you know, obviously just almost like a beginner type pattern, but I just really like it. I love the 70s look. That's kind of it's kind of ties in with the home decor I'm going for when I move into this house I'm planning on moving into eventually, which again, I'll get to that at the end of the video. So yeah, I got that one, and then I got this other one that I thought was really pretty as well. Both of these are only 40,000 stitches each, so they're pretty doable, and they don't have that many colors. So this one, I think it's just called Graffiti. I thought that was just a really fun design. So added that one to my collection. I might try using some of those metallic threads in there. So maybe in the Psychedelic, I might try using the white, and then in the Graffiti, the black metallic, I thought might look good. And then, as you might have heard, Heaven and Earth Designs had an Easter sale, and they're going through a really tough time right now. Michelle and her husband Bob, you may have heard if you've been following them at all, but their daughter passed away from a drug overdose, very sadly, I think like a little over a month ago. And then Bob was diagnosed with cancer, and he's been starting treatment. So I felt like, even though I didn't need any new charts, I really wanted to send some support. So I ended up buying 4 for my collection. So, so 2 of them are Aimee Stewart's. So this is one of the Aimee Stewart's I got. This is Vintage Knitting and Crochet. This is one where, obviously it's a massive chart. It could work possibly cropped. You know, that's something you can kind of do if you don't want to do the whole, or, you know, you don't want to overwhelm yourself by planning on doing the whole thing. You can do, you know, so maybe even on this side, I was thinking like, could do some kind of a cropped, maybe like a 1/4 of it or a 1/2 of it. Could work. So yeah, so that's something I was thinking about. This one is pretty big. It has 350,700 stitches, so it's a biggie. This one, it's actually not so big. It's 278,750, so it's you know, a little bit more of a manageable size. And it's this one, Tea and Cookies. She has a lot of these, which is like a whole bunch of objects just kind of spread out. Looks like it's spread out on a table. There's a lot of different themes. She has like coloring book and like travel theme and archaeology theme, and yeah, super fun. But I really like the cookies. So that's one. Again, I have no idea when I'm going to start these, but hopefully I will one day. The third one I got, this is just called Autumn, and the artist, I have to look at the name again. It's Irina, where is it? Irina Garmashova. And it's with all these cute kitties. I just love the cats on here. I just love the way the cats are done. Especially this one here, I think is beautiful. Again, another option maybe for a cropped version. If I could just get that cat in, maybe a 1/2 or the top, just like the section that has that cat in it. I don't know. I think this is really pretty. So I got that one. One more to show. This one not so colorful, but I don't know, I just really loved this image. This is, okay, what is it? Amphitrite, Goddess of the Sea. The artist is Malcolm Watson. Isn't it so pretty? It's not the bright colors like I usually go for, but just the way it's designed, the busyness of it, all the shells, the cascading hair on the girl is really pretty. Yeah, so this is a good one. Also a big one. So this one has 360,000 stitches, and then that autumn one with the cats has 312,650. So those are we'll see, but you know, I just, and so this is now what my wish list looks like. So I have like a wish list section in Markup RXP, and I have so many more of those in compared to the ones I'm doing. So the ones I'm doing, I have 10 right now, which is a lot for me. I know a lot of Flosstubers have 10 is like nothing. So, and I'm finding this has got to be the limit because I'm just, I don't know, I'm almost feeling like I'll work on one and then I have to put it away and I wish I didn't have to. Like I kind of like getting lots of progress on one project. So maybe I'm more of a monogamous style stitcher. But anyway, that is the stitching and that is everything I bought. So let's do a quick little eagle update. So I mainly just been watching the Big Bear nest. So Big Bear, California. It's like right down the road from me, where I currently live here. I live in the mountains of Southern California. Big Bear is one of the towns that's in the mountain range that I live in. And the bald eagle couple is Jackie and Shadow. They are quite famous, so you might have heard about them, even if you're not into eagles. They've been on a lot of news channels. They had 3 chicks this year. One of them unfortunately passed away during a really brutal blizzard. But the remaining 2 are doing so great. And they actually have names officially. So last video I talked about they did like a naming contest. So they picked the names. They have like local elementary school students vote. So the older one is called Sunny. And the younger one is called Gizmo. I just laughed when I heard that though, because I was like, so it's a gremlin, you know, because you know, I don't know, that movie from the 80s, I think it's like 85, the movie Gremlins, that main character gremlin was named Gizmo. So that's just made me think of that. I was like, oh, all right, well. But yeah, it's cute. They weren't names that I picked, but I still think they were, you know, they're definitely like, you know, I guess they're names that little kids would pick when voting. I don't know. So Sunny is currently 6.5 weeks old, and then Gizmo is 6 weeks old. I'm going to post just a couple pictures of what they look like now. They have grown so fast, and they are so sweet. They got all their black feathers coming in now, and they're probably going to start flying in about a month or a month and a half. Usually, like I think it's between like 10 and 14 weeks old. They'll fledge, which means take their first flight. So yeah, that has been fun to watch them. Just loving it. It's just such a treat to have their breeding season go well this year and get to just enjoy that and watch them grow up. Not much to report from the other nests. Things seem to be pretty stable, like not a lot of drama, which is a good thing. There's a few others like the Northeast Florida with Bodie. Bodie has taken his I don't know if it's a male or female, but taking its first flight, has been flying around, but still coming back to the nest. So they'll like fly, but then they'll still come back for food. The other eaglet at the Sauces Canyon nest, Betty Lou, is growing up and looking good. And then there's the NCTC nest in West Virginia. They had 3 babies. They did have a little bit of drama because there was a bit of like a food shortage issue where like the parents couldn't find enough food, and then it caused the babies to like start fighting each other and competing. So, but it seems to be stable now because they did end up finding food and all is good. So, all right, I know I'm almost at 45 minutes, so let me do my life update. So my mom flew down from Oregon and was here for a week. And the purpose of that visit was to try to work out some issues at this house that my family has owned in Los Angeles for, it's like 50 years. It's been in the family for like 50 years. My boyfriend and I currently rent a house that we have a 6-month lease on. The lease ends at the end of this month, at the end of April, and our landlord, we thought maybe we could extend it, but he said no, you know, he has plans. So he's coming back, and we have to be out by the end of the month. The plan was to move into this house that is owned by my family in Los Angeles. There's been a long-term tenant in there. We gave them a notice over 6 months ago now to move out because that's a legal reason to be able to end a tenancy is if the owner or close family members moving in. They did not leave. They still have not left. They had until April 1st, and it's now like April 19th. I don't want to get into like too many details about that because it's a little bit of a sensitive, personal stuff about this person. But the bottom line is that my mom came into town to kind of, we were trying to see what was going on, to go kind of talk to the person and find out what we can do. And, originally we were going to like clean the house out and start getting, get some contractors in, get it painted, get it ready for me to move in. Fortunately, couldn't do any of that because the person has just refused to leave. So, so that meant that since I was not able to plan to move in there on May 1st, my boyfriend and I had to find another place to live. And that week that my mom was in town, it was just really, I would say the two good things about that week, the cross stitch, getting to see my haul and starting on those projects, and then watching the Jackie and Shadow Eagle family and hearing about the new names. Those were like the best parts of the week, because the rest of it was just so stressful. It was a lot, just with this whole situation we're dealing with at this house. And then we were all, it was great to see my mom. We did do a few fun things. We did some shopping. We went to a few restaurants. We were mainly just dealing with the stress of the situation. And then at the same time, I was working because I work remotely. And we're like sharing this one hotel room. I got like awful sleep the whole night, the whole week, basically. And I do not do well with like less than 7 hours of sleep. I don't operate well. So, very stressful. And I also had to work. I had to record 2 podcasts during the week, as part of my work. So I was like, wow, I can't believe I did that and I made it through. But yeah, it was a tough week. And that was also why the stitching I did not get as much as I would have hoped. I was thinking like, because another thing that I do, like as part of my weekly routine, is I exercise. Like I do like a half hour to an hour workout every afternoon when I'm done with work. I wasn't doing that in the hotel because I didn't want to deal with, you can't really do that like, in a small hotel room with, my mom was there. So I skipped that all week, except when I was like, oh, I'll have so much more time for stitching, but it just didn't happen. I don't know. It was just a rough week. So anyway, yeah, my boyfriend and I had to find another place to live, because this house is not available at this point. We still don't know really if or when it's going to be available. And so our first idea was, well, we should probably find a place in LA close to the house so that when it does open up and when we need to start like, going over and meeting with like people to do the, flooring and fix the house up and then start moving things in, I'd like to be nearby. Right now where I am, it's like a 2-hour drive, at least from where we are, to this house. So it's like, well, we should move into LA, but that also didn't really work out too well. Basically, if you want to find a decent place that's like, if you want your own house and it's like, and if, especially if you want it like furnished, I mean, you're going to spend at least like $5,000 a month, around there, which wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to do that. So, and it was, we haven't lived in an apartment in years. Like for the past 5-6 years, we've lived in like just our own house. We've never had to share a wall with anyone. So the idea of going into an apartment in LA was like, I just don't think we can do that because we both work remotely. It's just going to be too much noise. So that was just a no-go. And then, we wanted furnished because we don't have our own furniture right now. We were planning on getting all of our new furniture in the new house and just having it shipped there. So I don't want to buy it in a temporary place and then have to move it all. So we wanted something furnished, our own house, and of course, reasonable price, but then also close enough to this house. So we did find a house. It is 1 hour away, which was the best we could do. It is 1 hour north of where the elusive house is in Los Angeles. It's also in the mountains, different mountain. It's about 3 hours west of where I currently am living. So instead of like east of Los Angeles, it's like pretty much like straight up north, in another mountain. But yeah, that's what we did. So my mom left it was like a Sunday morning, and then my boyfriend came pick me up. I left her, you know, she went to the airport, he picked me up, and then we went straight over to this other mountain where we had seen some house listings, and we went and just locked it in. And we didn't really get to look that long because it was such a last minute thing. But I think it's going to be a nice house. It's furnished. It's good. There are the only two things about it that were kind of like a, you know, a concern. I didn't have a washer dryer, just had a washer dryer hookup, so I had to get one. I did already locate a washer dryer, a used one in that town, so that's resolved. The only other issue is that the next door house looked like, look, we went up to it with the woman showing it to us, and it was completely covered in like construction paper, and I'm like, so she's like, yeah, it's under construction. I was like, well, is that going to cause a lot of noise? She's like, well, you know. So hopefully, I don't know, we're both very sensitive to noise, like when we're working, especially. So fingers crossed that that's not going to be a major issue. I might be blasting white noise or doing noise canceling headphones. I don't know. So yeah, we are going to be moving there in 2 weeks. So now I'm focused on getting all this stuff together, getting things organized for the move, going over there. And so it's 1 hour away from the Los Angeles house. So if and when that opens up, I'll just have to start like commuting back and forth there to like start getting things done at the house, and then also just checking on it because, you know, we don't want squatters moving in, obviously. And then we'd have to start all over again. And as far as getting rid of people that are on our property. So that is what's happening. It's been a lot. Happy to stay grounded with my stitching, of course. And yeah, I find it to be a very nice way to just relax and, you know, be able to do some self-care and time for myself, especially amidst all this chaos happening. So that is it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. This is my last time filming in this house. So last time seeing this view here. Next time I will be in this new house. That was an unexpected place to move to, but we will be there in 2 weeks. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, if you like what you saw, I would love it if you would subscribe. I am slowly inching my way towards 1,000 subscribers. I have just over 700 now, so very exciting. So yeah, if you like what you saw, please subscribe and please like this video. Please comment if you have anything to share. Let me know your thoughts on that color combo on the mosaic tiles piece. I'm curious to get others' opinions. Yeah, so that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. I hope everyone has a great next few weeks of stitching, and a happy Easter if you do celebrate that. And I will see you soon.